Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 3, and today I'm going to be giving you part 25 of What If Naruto Had the Rinne-Tenseigan. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, I posted the final episode over on Anime King of What If Naruto Was the Elite, Blue Eye Uchiha. Yes guys, the final episode over there. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy guys. Which I hope you do. And also, I posted a brand new episode of What If Naruto Was Put Through Hell over on Anime King 2. So go ahead and enjoy that guys. And yeah, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I indeed have 3 channels. Anime King, Anime King 2, Anime King 3. Which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto found Obito, he was sitting down as he was watching the crushing waterfall. He said nothing or did nothing. He just sat there. He then vanished in a blur as he attacked Naruto with a fury of attacks. As Naruto sidestepped and moved out of the path of all of his attacks, Obito thought that he landed a critical blow on Naruto, but once again, Naruto re-emerged. As he sat there, turning his back towards Obito like the man wasn't even a threat. Obito was furious, concerned that the last time he spoke to Naruto never told him about Minato being void or Kushina being back, nothing. The man was really pissed off. And also he killed Kisame. He knew that Sasuke wanted revenge on his brother, but why did he have to kill Kisame? As Naruto decided to do him a favor and asked him what other tail beast was Kisame and Itachi was supposed to go after. As the 8 tails the man told him, Obito did not trust Naruto, but he did not know where the 9 tail was or what Naruto did with it, so he had no idea what to do with that. As Naruto told him that once everything is done though, he will get it, so for now he just had to be patient. With that, Naruto made his way off. Sasuke had finally woke up, as he woke up from a dream. The last thing he saw was Itachi's face. As he came to realize something that he passed out, he didn't even know what happened, but Karen was there, as Karen gave him a note. As it simply read, "You won." It was from Naruto. As Sasuke felt his shoulders just sigh at that. He didn't know what to do now after all. His main thing was killing Itachi. Yes, things were different now, but still, what now? What after this, he did not know. As Karen asked him if he wanted to be shown around the place. After all, he never got the time to look around the place. And many things here are quite spectacular to see. He shrugged as he decided to just follow her. Meanwhile, the right Kage knew that something like this might happen, considering that Naruto has no known affiliate with any other villages, as he couldn't go to his town because of his father and Oniki. So the best place for him to come where this village didn't outright like Konoha was Kumo. As his ninjas quickly captured Naruto, as Naruto was brought to a holding cell where the Raikage came in. The Raikage wanted information, as he had Naruto chakra suppressed. This boy needs to learn his place after all. He's coming here asking for help. The man smashed Naruto head in the table after Naruto disrespected him. As Naruto laughed at that, before he erupted, his power went uncontrolled and obliterated the whole cell that you were in. As Naruto then disappeared, while the fake one stayed behind and handled the Raikage, creating this illusion, this technique that he had to mess with someone. As every time the Raikage knocked him down, he just seemed to reappear, like he was a ghost that kept on dying over and over again. Or, yet, you were not touching him at all. It was strange. As Naruto found Killer B wastes no time because Akatsuki told him to not take this one lightly, as B went in for a furious of attacks, but Naruto sidestepped and dodged, and any attack that made him, it was stopped by a literal brunt force, B transformed, but Naruto sucked away the power from his Biju as B went all out. The chaotic Biju released a Biju bomb. Naruto held out his hand and created a black spear as it was a truth-seeking orb. As he swelled it with so much power, he threw it. It exploded. The explosion seemed to rifle the entire place and slam into the 8 Tails. The 8 Tail didn't want to go in because he knew if he did, B would be captured and that would be it. So Naruto force flip pushed him in with his chains, as Naruto had some strange chains that seemed to tear at its skin, ridding it of chakra, as it had to go back in. Naruto phoned Obito and delivered B to him. Zetsu came after a while as they were planning. They did not trust Naruto one bit and they knew that he won't do the right thing. It's just a matter of thinking how should they deal with him, and how could they? Meanwhile, in a strange place, two figures were talking. It seemed to be somewhere out of the elemental nation, as someone was plotting something, and it seems that they were plotting against Naruto. So yeah guys, those basically that's what I thought. If you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So what's to begin this new episode? We begin this new episode with Kakazu and Hidan, as at the moment, Kakazu was carrying Fu, as he had just made their way towards Take and taken the girl. Many had died, hundreds in the assault. Kakazu did it out of glee for his former home. After all, they betrayed him and sold him out when they were the one that told him to attack the first Hokage. Then they said that he went rogue and did it by himself. And he really hated that village. Despite it being a long time ago, he still enjoys squashing their skulls despite many of them having nothing to do with it. Fu was currently on his back as Kakazu was walking at a leisure pace. "Why are you moving so slow?" Hidan said in a rather low tone. "Let's get a move on. This was so boring. You got to slaughter more than I did." Hidan loved to kill people for his lord Jashin. And this was not one of the time when he get to do as he pleased, because Kakazu was the one that took the reign in this. He was the one that brought more chaos to the village. And Hidan didn't like that one bit. After all, he's the one who's supposed to bring them to his lord as sacrifice. "Hidan, be quiet." "Or what?" said Hidan. Kakazu was always making his threat. "Or I'll kill you," said Kakazu. Hidan chuckled. "Like you can," he said. Kakazu said nothing as Hidan kept on walking. Suddenly, the man coughed up blood as he looked down. An arm was coming through his chest, as Kakazu had burst his arm through his chest. Hidan eye twitched. "Did you really just do that?" he said, as he looked down towards his torn Akatsuki clothing. As his eye twitched violently, Kakazu pulled back his arm as Hidan turned as he pulled his sight, only for him to freeze. What's going on?" he said. It was then that the man slowly placed down Fu on the ground. "Kakazu, what did you do to me?" he said, concerned in his tone because something was wrong. He couldn't feel anything at all. He couldn't move his face. He couldn't move his body at all. He was frozen. As Hidan then saw a light, he couldn't tell where the light was coming from because his head was firmly set towards Kakazu. His mouth could still move though. "What the hell's going on, Kakazu?" Hidan asked. "I told you not to piss me off, or I would end up killing you. You know that this is just wasting time, right? The leader is gonna be pissed at you. So what the hell are you doing to me?" "Well, I would care if I had worked for the leader." "What?" said Hidan. Kakazu raised a single hand sign as he activated the seal fully on Hidan's chest. The Uzumakis were a proud, pristine clan, and their Fuinjutsu work was beyond anything this nation has ever seen before. Something powerful enough like that can even bring down you. Hidan dropped to both knees. "What are you doing?" he asked, as he felt his insides being turned into mush. Blood came from his mouth as he started to cough and wheeze. As he dropped face first, he mumbled and cursed because he couldn't speak properly. As Kakazu just came over, the seal inside of Hidan's body was ripping him apart. It was electrifying and tearing his insides to bits, leaving nothing behind. His regeneration that he got from praising his lord Jashin was being stopped because all the chakra to his body was being cut off completely. There was nothing being pumped into his system. Some sort of link had been broken by the seal that seemed to weigh him down. As his eyes turned to mush, his kidneys, his heart exploded. His body was sucked into the seal, leaving behind a small, tiny box with seals all over it. There he will remain, in a death-like state forever. Kakazu threw it straight into the woods over to the side, where it would be buried by the foliage soon enough. He then picked back up the unconscious girl as he kept on walking, straying from his path where the Akatsuki were supposed to meet up. Time skip. What? Said Pain. What do you mean you can't find him? Exactly what I mean, Zetsu said. He's just gone. Gone? He did have the 7 tails, didn't he? Yes, he was coming towards a proper location and then he was just gone. I'm not entirely sure what happened myself. I went out there and this is what I found, Zetsu said as he placed on a small box. He can sense remnants of Hidan's chakra in this, but I don't know exactly what it was. But if I had to guess, I would say it's something regarding Fuinjutsu. Footsteps could be heard as another path, a bulgy one, came over. As far as I can tell, it seems like Hidan was trapped inside. But I can't find any remains of Kakazu at all. The pre-path picked up the box, as he could absorb chakra from any Fuinjutsu, anything at all. Once it was chakra, he could absorb it. That is why he decided to absorb the chakra from the seal. Once he did though, his eyes went wide as he covered the box with his body. Right at the moment before it went off, a nasty surprise was left for him as it exploded. Lucky enough, his body was able to block out most of the shockwave. Zetsu shrunk back underground as the place trembled. Fire exploded outwards, but Tendo raised a single hand and it was blown away and dispersed down into the interceptors of the solar system. As Tendo stood there, his path was blown as it was cinched and torn badly. His Rinnegan did not see any deceit, so he was confused. How the hell did that happen? And who planted this? Just what the hell was going on and where was Kakazu? Meanwhile, Kakazu was on one knee as he bowed his head. You did well, said Naruto as he stood there. As Kakazu didn't say anything, as someone came in and took the unconscious girl and brought her away. I told you that it would be wise to side with me instead of them, said Naruto. And it seems like you picked the right side. It's in there, said Naruto as he pointed towards a room. Kakazu looked up. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Can I ask when you're going to take care of the leader? He asked. In due time, said Naruto. But it's better if you lay low now. After all, if you choose to go out there and he finds you, he's gonna not waste any time to obliterate you. But don't worry, soon enough you'll be free. You'll have all the money you want and can spend it however you wish. As long as you know where the true power is. Do you understand, Kakazu? Kakazu merely nodded. You're dismissed, said Naruto. And with that the man left. As Naruto had approached Kakazu some time ago, while he was still in the organization, it was there that he had shown Kakazu a glimpse of his power. Kakazu realized the strength between Nagato and Hoshirama and Naruto at that single second. And it was always best to be working for the most powerful. So that is why anything that happened to Akatsuki, Naruto knew exactly, as Kakazu had been working for him the entire time. But it was only now that Naruto asked him to bring the Jinchuriki towards him. And he was the one that gave him that seal to take care of, Hidan. Unknowing to Kakazu, Karen was the one that created that seal. Yes, she has come a far way in her Fuinjutsu. And Naruto was the one that told him to just throw it away. Just throw it somewhere in the open, so that Zetsu would find it. Naruto knew that Zetsu would scour the place, and bring him back to Nagato, who would try to reverse the seal after sensing Hidan's chakra, because Naruto asked Karen to purposely made it that way so that you could sense the chakra from the outside. Just a little nasty surprise for Nagato, to let him know that his demise is soon. As Naruto sat there, a smile came on his face. Time skip. As Naruto arrived towards a strange cell. The area was unknown. It was empty, like a wasteland. It didn't even seem like Earth. Weird. There was a massive bar there. The moment Naruto stepped foot close to the bar, a roar could be heard that trembled the entire existence around. The thing behind the bar sounded ferocious. Man, you're loud, said Naruto as he picked at his ear. You need to learn to quiet down most of the times, you know that, right? Why don't you come here and force me to quiet down? Oh, really? Do you want to play that game? Naruto asks. You know I can, right? The thing growled once again, showing it defiance. As Naruto sighed, Be as angry as you want, he said. It's not like you'll be able to escape and go anywhere. You better hope I stay here. Because once I get my freedom, I'm gonna rip you to pieces. I already told you, friend, said Naruto. You won't be getting your freedom because you're trapped and you won't be freed. Or have you forgotten? You're nothing but a walking construct of chakra to be used. As the fox growled, seeing that image of Madara behind Naruto as he bared his teeth in rage. As Naruto stepped closer towards the bars, you aren't important just because you were created by a man who thought that he could solve the world, pain and death and suffering by peace. Idiotic, foolish demise and dreams. You aren't important. You are just a means to an end, which I will gladly use, said Naruto. Oh, you have a little friend. As Naruto turned his head, there was another cell over to the side. What's going on? Said a voice. The voice sounded buzzing, like it was moving at a high-pitched voice or something. I'll let you two get acquainted, said Naruto, as he spared one last glance towards Kurama, who was trapped away sealed, unable to leave this place, and he was gone, as Kurama bared his fangs. Kurama looked over towards the other cell, where he saw Komi, the Seven Tails. Back at the Elemental Nation. What do you mean, gone? Said Madara, as he looked over towards Nagato. Kakazu is gone. Hidan was sealed away in a tiny box that I tried to open and exploded on me. Someone is trying to sabotage the Akatsuki goals, and they're so close to fruition. I've sent Zetsu out to try and locate the girl. Where is the Nine Tails? The Kyuubi Jinchuriki has been not been seen for a long time now. Zetsu said that he hasn't found anything. What about you? He's still evading me at this moment. But I will get the Nine Tails soon enough. It's only a matter of time. You don't have to worry about that. But we still need the Seven Tails. Once Zetsu has arrived with more information, we will talk about the Nine Tails. For now, I have places to be. With that, Madara vanished, as he was kind of furious. The only person who knew about their plan like this and could actually do something like that was Naruto. But why would Naruto? He paused. He always knew there would be a time when Naruto was going to betray him because he always never trusted Naruto. But now, and what did he do with the Seven Tails? If it was really him, have it. What the hell did he do with the Seven Tails? First the 9 and now the 7. Obito was pissed. Time skip. The right Kage had sent out a letter towards all the nations, giving his brother reason taking, and the whole situation with Minato coming back from the dead and attacking Konoha, and not to mention the Akatsuki, collecting the tail pieces. They had no idea what the Akatsuki was doing with the tail pieces. And right now, they need to pull their efforts together to get more information, because neither of them knew anything. The meeting was called 3 days ago, as all nations were making their way. The San, Konoha. Recent news had told them that there was a female, Mizukage, but no one knew her name. All that they heard there was a female Mizukage. The news that came out recently. After all, the war. After the war, the civil war that take place, Kiri had shut its borders, and no one knew what was going on inside. So now, they heard that a female Kage had taken over. They didn't know who she was, but, if anything, she should be with them as well. They could not have a criminal organization having all 9 tails of the Biju's power. That would be too much. And the power shifting of the world would change, and they couldn't have that at all. So with that, Oniki and the others made their way. Oniki was just curious to find out more information about Minato, as he wanted to hear what Konoha has to say. After all, the man had tried to destroy the village. Yes. And he did succeed in some small minuscule amount. Well, not really small, but Konoha was a large place. So, as the groups made their way, Tsunade was currently being flanked by Kakashi and Sakura, while the right Kage was with Darui and C. Onki was with his granddaughter and Akatsuki. As Mei Tarumi was making her way, she had Kojiro and Ayo by her side. As Gaara was currently with his sister and brother. The meeting would commence in 1 hour, as all the respective Kages had come. Tsunade had been having a warm time at Konoha, rebuilding things, getting things back on track given the tower had exploded and many files, many information was lost. But they still made no headway on where Naruto is, or where Minato was, or what were they doing. The threat was still looming in the air that they will destroy Konoha, but no one knew when they were coming or how they were going to start their attack. But everyone was ready, as the fourth Kage was a threat to them all now. Those who had love for him in the past had to forget about it in order to save their village. They had to save their village from death. Jiraiya was at the village, just in case. She couldn't leave and took Jiraiya with her, and she needed someone there strong to hold the fort until she returned. Tsunade wasn't so sure that Jiraiya could handle both Naruto and Minato though. Yes, that was just a suicide match. She still didn't know how powerful Naruto was. Kami only helped them when the time comes. As everyone started to file into the room, it was then that Mei made her presence be known, as they all caught sight of her. As she introduced herself, "I've not been properly introduced. I apologize that I wasn't able to send out a letter to you all, to let you know that I've taken a seat as Mizukage. It's a pleasure to meet you all. My name is Mei Terumi," she said. As the others looked at her, "It's a pleasure to meet you as well," Raikage said. "We don't have time to bicker if she's a new Kage or not." The people of Kiri, he looked towards her two bodyguards. "Accept her, do you not?" "Of course we do," said Ayo. Well, he looked towards the others. "Then we all see you're standing as a new Mizukage," he said, talking for them. Oniki was a bit angry that the man was voicing his thoughts for him, even though he didn't say anything, but he just let that go. "Alright, let us begin this meeting because it seems like we shouldn't waste any more time," said Mifune. "Raikage Dano, seeing that you're the one that called this meeting, why don't you start?" As the man nodded, "Recently my village was attacked by one of your ninjas," he says. He looked towards Tsunade. "Naruto Uzumaki, he came and took my brother. He said that he's given it to the organization, which I'm judging is what Jiraiya sent out a letter about some time ago about this Akatsuki. And from what I've heard, they have already gathered a large number of tail pieces. Recently, Taki has been taken. To have an organization like that control so many tail pieces, unknown what they're going to do with their means, we can't allow that to pass. We have to have them killed, including this Naruto Uzumaki, all of them. I am not going to side against you on that," said Tsunade. "We want him dead as much as you do. But we have no idea where he is. We don't even know who is the leader of this organization. From what our sources tell us, we never knew that Naruto was a part of the organization. Well, he was not wearing the cloak that Jiraiya described," said the Raikage. "But I heard what he said, he was going to give it over to the organization. And he came and he took my brother. And if I'm not mistaken, he is the Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, is he not?" "Yes," said Tsunade. "Who was she to lie? The news has already spread." "So, if I'm counting right," he looked towards Oniki, "you have said nothing about the disappearance of your Jinchurikis." "It wasn't a problem of the elemental nation. It was a problem of a hidden stone," said Oniki. "Well, if I'm counting right," he says. He turned towards me. She simply nodded. "Then the Akatsuki has all of the Bijus. We have no idea what they intend to do with this power. But I assure you it's not something good." "Then what do you propose, Raikage Dano?" asked Gaara. "I think we should all join forces to take down this Akatsuki once and for all." Oniki scoffed. "All of us join forces together to take down one group. I know they might be powerful, but still that's a bit of an overkill," he said. "Not to mention, they have been going and sneaking around. They haven't faced any of us full on before. So if they come, the hidden stone will crush them on," he said, being as arrogant as he always was. As A clenched his teeth. "Don't underestimate them. This boy is showing powers that resemble something I thought was just a myth." "What is that?" "You do know that Kumo has many artifacts from the long time periods. And this boy has shown the eyes of something I thought was a myth, that was the Rinnegan." "That's impossible." "The Rinnegan? You mean those eyes belonging to the Sage of Sixth Path?" said Oniki. "Yes. I'm the old one here, not you. You shouldn't be, he's not lying," said Tsunade. "What? It's real? Unki said. Yes. It might be a myth to some, but it's real. He does possess them, but it's not alone. What do you mean it's not alone? First of all, how did he bring back his father? That news was quite shocking to find out that Naruto Uzumaki was the son of Minato Namikaze, so how did he bring him back? And why does he have such a grudge against Konoha? Past actions that doesn't involve the rest of the nations. What? Well, given the fact that Minato will probably be a part of this war, we need to know everything about him. And how much more powerful has he gotten? The rumors have been going around that he decimates your ninjas without a problem. So I would like to know if he has gotten a sizable increase or what, said Oniki. A part of the man was afraid, after all you remember back then. Laughter stopped all of them. Are you alright, said Gaara as he looked towards Mate Rumi. It's immense, she said. They blink in confusion. What do you mean? She reached for her robe, as all of them tense. Mizukage said the Raikage, as he looked towards her. Oh, it's nothing offending you, Raikage Danoshi said. It's just... She pulled out a kunai. Snazzy's eyes went wide. As she instantly recognized what it was, so did Oniki and the Raikage as she threw it up in the air. It didn't even flash. One moment they were not there, next moment they were. As they stood on the table. Immediately, Mifune moved as the other samurais called. As they started to file into the room. Whoa. Quite the audience. You bastard! Ace said as he broke out of his chair. The man pulled his arm back to take Naruto's head right off. As his body was caked in the lightning. Minato's hand got surrounded in lightning as he twists. His speed. His eyes calculating speed that anybody couldn't even keep up with. As he pierced right through the lightning armor and slammed his fist, covered in lightning right in the man's chest. It threw the Raikage back as he crashed into the wall. As Naruto jumped down off the table, he didn't say anything to anyone. Always have to make a flashy entrance. We could have done this from the beginning, said Mei, as she took off the hat and gave it to Naruto, who flipped it as it landed softly on his head. Well, who am I if not one for a flashy entrance, he said as he sat down in her chair. As the others looked at him stunned. What is the meaning of this? Said Oniki, as the man's eyes were fearful as all guards came down. Sakura eyes widened as she saw Naruto sitting there, along with Kakashi, Kurosaki, and all of the other guards came down. As the Raikage picked himself up. Well, if you haven't noticed, it seems that the rumors were wrong. Indeed, I am not the Mizukage, because the new Mizukage is sitting right here. What? Naruto? Said Snazzy. But how? It means that you don't need to know right now, said Mei. But he is the Mizukage. So all along, that's where you've been hiding, said Snazzy. Well, not really hiding, but plotting, said Naruto. Good to see you. Sakura, you look well. Kakashi. He turned his head. Gaara, he bowed. A slight mocking bow. Temari, Kankuro. Hey. As Naruto reached towards his forehead and looked towards Raikage, who was already charged up to move once again. You know that hit was really hard. It's been a long time since I've been cut in a long while, said Naruto as he moved his hand even though there was no cut there. So what are we talking about? After all, the Mizukage must be a part of the discussion, he says he folded his leg. You really think that we're just gonna stay here and let you interrupt this meeting? Like, you are actually a Kage, said the Raikage. Where's my brother? Probably dead, said Naruto. The answer was stern and quick as the Raikage clenched his fists, his aura shaking the small podium around them. And you? How far have you fallen to attack your own village? You weren't even worthy of a title as Kage, said Oniki as he looked towards Minato. You know nothing, said Minato. I know nothing? Slaughtering your own people, you're a disgrace. They aren't my people anymore. I am no longer the Hokage of Konoha. So don't pretend to think that you know me. The only thing that we might have in common is me killing your people back then. How much was it, said Minato, as that seemed to shut Oniki up for a moment as he clenched his fists. Well, still, it doesn't matter. You came here, and you really think that you were gonna leave? Big mistake, Oniki says. He floated up in the air. He raised his hand to use his particle style, only for sand to block him. Oniki had to move back, pulled back by Akatsuki as the sand nearly slammed into him. Oniki's eyes went wide, and so did the Raikage as he turned his head. Kazekage? Gaara stepped forward. Temari, Kankuro. The both of them were confused. Gaara, what is the meaning of this? Said Snavy as she was angrily on her feet. Can't you see? Gaara's with me, said Naruto. Gaara, said Temari. Temari, I'm your Kage. Come here immediately. Both of you, he said. The both of them looked at each other unsure. As they quickly made their way towards Gaara's side. He was right, he was their Kage, but they did not understand. What do you mean, you're on his side? No, said Snavy. What did you do to him, she said. She looked towards Naruto. I heard that you were on that mission, and he died. You brought him back with some strange jutsu. You did something to him. Temari's eyes went wide. Perhaps that was the reason she remembered that. He did nothing to me, said Gaara. He just made me realize that if I'm gonna choose a side, I should choose a winning one. Konoha will not survive. Kumo and the stone will not survive if they do not bow down. Kiri is already strengthened over the past couple of years, and they have things that you wouldn't even believe. So I'm just making sure that my village is safe, said Gaara. That is why I've aligned myself with Naruto, as he bowed his head slightly. Ah, you see, said Naruto, sitting there calmly. People understand which side they should choose. So old man, bulky man, said Naruto, why don't the both of you bow and go to your knees? And I'll probably spare your life. Never, the Raikage said. You young starters really think that you're the one in charge here, said Oniki. The stupid mistake the Kazekage has made, it will cost you your village, said Oniki, as he glared towards Kazekage. Hey Bachan, said Naruto, you might as well just give up on being Hokage. You know, I don't really hate you that much, seeing that you weren't there for the most of the suffering. Not to mention you weren't given the title of Godmother, so I don't really hate you that much. So I'll give you a pass. Why don't you just leave the village? I'll make sure no one touch you as you go in the Elemental Nation, drinking and gambling and do as you please. But I am gonna kill Jiraiya, said Naruto. As he talked so casually, it would seem like he was just talking about the weather. Snavy clenched her fists as she moved, her speed dropping down on him. She brought her fist to slam it right into Naruto's face, only for Gaara-san to stop her. Snavy moved back and Sakura threw a kunai, the explosive tag that blew a hole in Gaara-san as Snavy leaped right through. She then brought her fist down towards Naruto as Raikage leaped from the other side. The Tishikage held out his hand, Portal style, as a box surrounded Minato, a cube. As Naruto-san raised his hand, he teared the cube to pieces, literally just ripping it apart. He released a single breath as all of them were blown back. The explosion threw everyone back besides the ones that were with him, Gaara and Temari included, along with Kankuro. They were fine. But the others, the samurais, all of them were blown harshly towards the wall. As Naruto got up to his feet, Temari really didn't understand that Gaara really chose Naruto. Was something wrong with Gaara? He was not acting strange at all, so why would he just... This didn't make any sense. Gaara, she said. I will talk to you later, he said. Come on, Temari, said Naruto. Gaara knew when to pick the right side. You should as well. Kankuro clenched his fist. He didn't know what was it about this guy, but it was just the feeling being near him. He felt like he wanted to fight, and at the same time he wanted to run and hide in a corner. This overwhelming presence. But he had to listen to what Gaara said. Snavy picked herself up. Sakura, said Naruto, ignoring Snavy. You've gotten a lot faster. Have you been training recently? Don't talk to me, she said. Ouch, said Naruto. I mean, we were once teammates. Do you really have to deal with me that way? You're nothing but a traitor. Sorry. You can't be traitor of a village that you were never allied with in the first place, said Naruto. She clenched her fists. That makes it even worse. And I thought that we were getting along back then. Oh, that was all just an act, said Naruto. I'll tell you something right now. You never knew the real me. None of you did. As Minato stood there silently, as he just narrowed his eyes over the entire place, only he picked himself up along the Raikage. Minato looked down towards his hand. There was a seal there. All accounted for, he said, as he looked towards Naruto. Good, said Naruto with a smile, as he got to his feet. Well, so I just came to talk, said Naruto. After all, can't have a civil conversation with Kages. That would be rough. So, my terms are, you will all bow down to Kirin. After all, in this world, the strongest win, and the weak always perish. So that's all I came to say. I'll give you all 10 days. 10 days to pick. In those 10 days I have things to do. Heal a god. Do a couple more things. So I'll give you 10 days. This is not the same for Konoha, he said as he looked towards Kakashi. As Kakashi lifted up his headband as his eyes switched. Don't do that, said Naruto. Kakashi's eye focused as the ear around Naruto's chest started to twirl. As Naruto looked down towards the Kamui, before the ear rippled in the opposite direction. As Naruto's eyes pulsed, Kakashi dropped to his knees, grabbing, clutching at his one eye as blood spurted out of it. My eyes are a lot stronger, said Naruto. So don't think that would work on me. Besides, not even the both of them would work. Kakashi was a bit confused by that statement. Was he talking about? Why would he say that? So as I was saying, get your affairs in orders. Speak to your daimyos. Tell them what the new world regime is. Kiri has already conquered all of the smaller nations. The only thing remaining is the other great nations. The Sand won't be conquered, instead working with Kiri as a partnership. Because Gaara has finally accepted and see the true errors of this world. And know who the weak is and know who the strong is. You must all come to realize that soon enough, or it will be chaos. 10 days you'll be given. Don't worry, Konoha time hasn't started yet. Besides, I want it to be a surprise when I come. So you don't have to worry, Bachchan, said Naruto. His tone was so sweet and calm, but at the same time the things that he was saying were dreadful and made her so angry. But she did not move, as Naruto just stood there. Well, that's all, said Naruto, as the air around all of them started to ripple, before it condensed and they were gone. The space and time seemed just split open. Kakashi stopped clutching at his eye, as blood was streaming down his mask. Sakura clenched her fist once again. She wasn't able to stop him. The other Kages looked at each other, as they never saw this outcome happening, not in a million years. As Mifune looked around the destroyed area. Well, let's get everything back in order, he said. They were just given a proposal. A countdown, it might seem. 10 days. That was all that they were given. Meanwhile, out in the desert, Temari blinked as she was in the desert. Well, that's all, said Naruto. As Naruto placed a hand on Gaara's shoulder. I'm glad that you saw a reason and chose the right side, he said. After what they did to you, they deserve much worse, Gaara said. Those words surprised Temari and Kankuro, but they didn't say anything to Gaara. As Minato placed a hand on his shoulder. You're growing as a fine leader, he said. Well deserved of your title as Kazekage. I'm glad that you saw the right way. Minato nodded to Gaara. Alright then, we'll be taking our leave now. As Mei glanced towards Gaara. He's cute. As Naruto saw her look, she looked towards him. What? I didn't say anything, said Naruto. As he waved his hands once again, as they were gone in a ripple. It was like air itself condensed. Gaara! What's going on? Temari shouted, on the top of her lungs. She couldn't hold it in anymore. Yeah. Why didn't you tell us any of this? What have you just done? Are we gonna go up against the 3 hidden villages? Konoha? The Stone Kumo? Are you okay? I'm fine. Are you sure he's not messing with your head? Asked Temari. My head is completely fine, Temari. You have nothing to worry about my mental state. Then why the sudden change? It wasn't sudden. I know from the moment he brought me back to life. I know the path I should take. In doing so, to protect the sand and grow it to new heights in a couple of years. But if we had chosen to side with Konoha, all of this would have fallen. The sand would have been obliterated, turned into a field of nothing but glass. So I'm doing all this for the village. Have trust in me, brother and sister. This is the only way that we're gonna survive. Time skip, as Naruto was currently in bed. Teiwai was lying on his chest. So, it all worked, she said. As Naruto said nothing. She was just speaking. I guess it won't change now. As he finally spoke. Well, you know everything he said. How do I know that you're not doing that on me, she asks. That thing that you do. As she turned her face, looking directly in the eyes. I mean, I could be a victim as well, and not even know it. Am I? She asks. He held up his hand. As a black rod appeared, he handed it to her. She took the black rod. Kill me, he said. She blinked. What? That's the only way for you to find out. Try and kill me. She looked at him directly, as he did not say anything else. She placed it on his chest as she started to push. She applied more pressure and pressure until she felt it. It nicked his skin a bit. As she stopped immediately. I'm sorry, she said. Well, it figures, said Naruto. I would be suspicious as well, if I know what you know. I guess I'm just overthinking things. After all, what you do cannot be undone. Can you ever forgive me for questioning you, she asks. As he looked at her. I don't even know. You really hurt me, you know. She reached up and kissed his lip. How about now? Not sure I'm quite convinced yet. She kissed him again. How about now? Not sure. As she deepened the kiss. She broke apart. How about now? You're getting there, said Naruto. She giggled as he flipped her over and started to kiss her some more. Meanwhile, what? Yes. They say that he's a new Mizukage of Kiri, said Zetsu. You're telling me all this time he's been at Kiri? Said Obito. He slammed his fist into the wall. Somewhere. Where I would never have looked for him. Smart. Are you sure that he's the one? I'm certain, Zetsu said. Who else would have known about Kakazu and Hidan? Not to mention, who else could take them on like this? There was no sign of Kakazu's body, nowhere. And Hidan was defeated soundly because there was no battle marks or anything around. I'm sure he's the one with those eyes of his. Have you found out what is mixed with the Rinnegan? I'm afraid not, said Zetsu. But I'll still continue to search. With that, he sank on the ground. Of course Zetsu knew about the Tenseigan. But it was impossible for the both of the eyes to mix together. It should be impossible. That is why he did not understand. He did not understand how did Naruto have those eyes. It made absolutely no sense for the both of them to merge together. And he did not know how powerful Naruto was. With those eyes, could he rival the power of his mother? Zetsu shook his head. No. He was a mere human. Of course he could not touch the power of his mother. The rabbit goddess, Kaguya, will always be stronger, Zetsu thought to himself. With that he continued. Now that he had a location on where Naruto was, he would go to Kiri and find out what the hell he's plotting and what the hell he's doing, making sure to stay out of sight so he's not caught. One thing though, Naruto knew nothing about what he was actually doing. He knew nothing about Kaguya, or that Zetsu was playing them all. That is what made Zetsu smile, as all of them, despite Naruto thinking that he was the one running things, all of them was his pawn, Zetsu thought to himself, as he made his way at Konoha. What? It makes sense now, said Tasumi. That is why the recent reports of the Sand Ninjas returning back home from the markets. But it was never speculated that they call the outright return of all their ninjas, Tasumi said. But it seems like we were being used the entire time. Gaara sided with Naruto immediately. It wasn't a hassle or anything, he just sided with him. As Snally was currently having a council meeting with all of the members there. So what now, Shibi asks. Me, the Tensukage and the Raikage, have come to an agreement with Land of Iron as well. We shall combine all four forces to face off against Naruto, who's now in control of Kiri, and the Sand as well. This will decrease our chance, but still we have to fight. He's planning on coming here soon enough. He said that he wants to make it a surprise. He's gloating about it as well. That is why we need to stop him before worst come to pass, she said. And if we can't, Shikaku said, Konoha would be obliterated. Well, someone had to say it as he looked at all of them. After all, they were thinking it. Someone had to say it. I'm afraid Shikaku's right, said Snappy. He's hell-bent on destroying Konoha no matter what happens. So that is why we have to take him down. We have to throw everything we got at him. The others in the room nodded as they agreed. They couldn't afford to waste any time. 3 days later, as Obito was standing, another waterfall. It seems that they love to meet up at these scenes. As Naruto had contacted Zetsu and told him that he wished to speak. As Zetsu had gave him the location. As Obito was waiting, unmoving and waiting, just watching the waterfall. It was now or never. He needed to know the truth. He wanted to know. As he was ready. There was no more time, no more game. Nagato will have to get involved. Because Obito could not face him. But the Rinnegan can surely take him down. Nagato called himself a god. It's time that he slay this demon. As Obito watched, there was no ripple, he just appeared. I was planning on meeting with you, said Naruto as he stood there. Why do we always have to meet at a waterfall? You know, that's kind of weird, Naruto said. Always jovial, Obito said. Well, if you can't find laughter in life, you might end up going crazy, said Naruto. Don't blame me because you're sad, he said. As he simply stood beside Obito at the waterfall. Where's the seven tails? How should I know, said Naruto. You took it, didn't you? You killed Kakazu, and you placed Hidan in a box and you took the seven tails. I don't know what you're talking about. From day one I know that you weren't supposed to be trusted. But I foolishly let myself believe that you were along with the plan. But now I find out that you're the leader of Kiri. Why would someone give that up? To live in a dream world of nothing but peace. Well, the dream world, I could be leader of Kiri there as well. Huh, you're not gonna cut this bullshit. Naruto sighed. Alright, fine. All along Kakazu was working for me, and he brought me the three tails. They're fine. And yes, I was never gonna actually give you the 9 tails and 7 tails to bring any influence of Yomi. From day one I wasn't with Madara's plan. It was all a plot. All a joke. I just want to see how far you would go before you realize and try to actually fight against me. And I must say it has been fun, said Naruto. Laying your cards out there in the open. Right in front of me, are you? Why should I be afraid, said Naruto. It's not like you could actually kill me. Obito said nothing, as he just kept on looking at the waterfall. Look, first of all, said Naruto, I'm gonna kill you. We both know that. It's not now though, I have other things to do. First thing to do is to kill Nagato. I'm gonna give you the privilege of watching that battle, because I'm sure you want to know who of us will come out on top. Am I right? Hey Zetsu! Come on out, I already know that you're there. Zetsu came from the ground. As Naruto turned towards him, completely disregarding Obito. I wouldn't try that, said Naruto. I mean, if you want to die now, I can make your wish come true. Besides, wouldn't you want to take me down when I'm weak? When I'm just finished fighting Nagato when I'm at the weakest? Because I'm sure the battle will be strenuous. Or you could go to Kiri and try to kidnap someone. Well, you don't know who I care about. You don't know if all of this is just a game that I'm playing. Reviving my mother and father. Just to mess with everyone's head. And taking over Kiri. Or if I'm just doing this all to have fun. Or if I've lost my mind a long time ago. Or if I'm not even the real Naruto Uzumaki. If I'm just a strange being from a different world. Impersonating him, and the real Naruto Uzumaki died a long time ago. Setsu narrowed his eyes at that. I mean, there must be other beings out there somewhere else. Powerful beings, right? I mean, where do we get these power from, said Naruto. So what? You want to go to Kiri? Well, my father should be meeting you there if you do. I'm sure that he has a bone to pick with you for what you did. With his entire life, you know. That's one of the reasons I told you not to try and find Void, because he would kill you. I've been merely telling him not to attack you yet, said Naruto casually as he spoke. You know, why don't you just live in this world, said Naruto. I mean, I could bring back that girl for you. Her name is Rin, right? Yeah. Obito twitched at that. I could bring her back. You and her could live in a happy, everlasting life. Maybe even have a kid. I can even give you baby names. What about Josie, Gabriella? Hear this one, I really like this one. If it's a girl, Kaguya. I mean, I like that name, said Naruto. I've been picking like you're having a girl. If it's a boy, Hagoromo, Hamura, any one of those. Zetsu was panicking. What the hell did he just say? As Naruto still remained calm. So you're not gonna hand over the severed nine tails. Instead you want to have fun by fighting Nagato. Ah, now we're getting it, said Naruto. I don't believe you, said Obito. You're planning something, you're up to something that you're not telling anyone. Well, if I am, it's gonna be a secret, right? So why would I tell you, said Naruto. Think, Obito, said Naruto as he tapped his own head. So, are you gonna try to stop me, or are you gonna let me go to Nagato? I mean, I have a bone to settle with him. Obito said nothing, as a swirling vortex opened up in front of him. 3 black rods came out and impaled Naruto where he stood. Yo. Obito blinked as Naruto was over towards the side, sitting down. What are you shooting at, said Naruto. As Obito snarled. That was not the Izanagi or anything like that. He did not die, he was doing something. I guess you want to know what was that? Sorry, can't tell you, said Naruto. Not that you'll be able to do anything. Well, have fun. I mean, the games has just begun. I mean, when you're the mastermind, you have to know all the moves, right? You really think that you're the mastermind behind all of this, said Obito. As Naruto looked down. If only you knew, he said. If only you knew. With that, he was gone. As Obito turned towards Zetsu, go, warn Nagato. Tell him that Naruto is coming for him. Tell him to not mess around. Hurry. Zetsu nodded as he went underground as he quickly made his way. How the hell did the bastard know that name? Kaguya. He even called Hagoromo and Hamura. Did he know? But how would he know? Zetsu was confused as he was panicking as he quickly made his way. Meanwhile, the hidden rain. As the rain was pouring down as usual, up in the sky stood one being. As he looked down towards the hidden rain, there was a smile in his face. Ah. They say when two gods clash, chaos ensues. Well then, God of the hidden rain, let's see how this will embark, shall we? Meanwhile, unknown to Naruto, even out of his wide range of speculation, someone was watching him. Not someone, something. As Naruto seemed to have pissed off some things that didn't take likely to it. What has he been up to? What was he even talking about when he was speaking to Obito? Well, you guys will find out the next time when I post the next episode of What If Naruto had the Rinne-Tenseigan, because this episode has come to an end, guys, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll be seeing you guys soon. Remember to go ahead and check out the other What Ifs and enjoy. But I'm off now. See you guys soon. Peace.